Hey students, do you know that will is not the only option to use when it comes to future simple tenses? There is a big range of other options that will give your English a lot more flavor and you will sound way more specific. So today in our class on future tenses, we're going to upgrade your English, so get ready. So I'm going to divide the screen into four parts. Yes, you're right. There's at least four good options to use when it comes to future simple. And we're going to talk about each of the options in detail and then do some exercises. And hopefully this will help you understand the difference between these four options and you will sound more like a native speaker that speaks casually about future. Well, of course, the very first option we're going to look at is will. Okay, so you can use will and you should use will when it comes to future tenses, but you have to know the context. So we're going to make a few points and I'm going to give you a couple of examples for each of the points. So, point number one. You're welcome to use will when you talk about future events, but you are making a prediction that you think will happen. And usually you would use words like I think, I'm sure, I'm not sure, I suppose, I believe, I'm afraid, and so on and so forth. Or you add words like probably, perhaps, and something like this. So let's say you can tell somebody, oh, I'm sure she'll pass the exam, or I'll probably be at school early tomorrow morning. Okay. And again, this is not 100% prediction. This is just how you feel about it. And it's not necessary that you're going to be right about it. So again, predictions that you make, and it's your own opinion, and that's it. All right. Now, the second point is spontaneous decisions. So, some things that you just thought of in a spur of the moment, and this is when you use will. For instance, you hear the phone ringing. What are you saying? Oh, I will answer it. Or you come to McDonald's and they say, so what would you like to order? And you're like, I'll have a cheeseburger, la 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 la. Or I drop a pen and you say, oh, I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up. So this is a spontaneous decision. Now, there's a cool thing. Let's say we are in a corporate meeting and I'm leading it and I'm asking my employee about his plans and he was supposed to think about those plans before the meeting. And I say, so what are you going to do about sales of this product? And he's like, we will consult specialists. So to me, will is about a spontaneous decision, something that hasn't been thought through thoroughly. So I'm like, did you just come up with that like on the go? So spontaneous decisions, something that you have to do like right now in the spur of the moment. It's also will. Oh, it's a little cold here. I'll close the window. Mhm. Now, point number three, you offer help to somebody. All right. You see an older lady with like heavy bags, and basically spontaneously you offer your help. You say, I'll help you with that. Okay. Or you see a person struggling, I don't know, with his homework. You say, oh, I'll help you with your homework. That's kind of your spontaneous decision plus offer of help. Now, whenever we make promises, and this is when we remember Whitney Houston with her amazing song, I Will Always Love You. What does she do there? Oh, she makes a promise. I will always love you. So whenever you make a promise, it sounds very natural to use will. What are some promises that you usually make? I will never do that again. I will never say that again. I will help you next time, and so on and so forth. So you make a prediction that is just your own opinion, spontaneous decisions, you offer help, and then making promises. There is a couple more. And this is where you have to be careful. If you ask somebody to do something, you can use will in a question. And this is where it gets tricky. And this is where you can kind of identify a non native speaker. For instance, if I ask you something like this, will you open the door for me? This has nothing to do with will you open the door for me on Friday? Let's say you are the only person that has a key. So will you open the door for me? In a question that starts with will, it's just a request. You ask somebody to do something. Okay? Will you carry that for me? Will you cut bread for me? Will you stop talking? So this is a quite polite request. Has nothing to do with future, but you use will there. So be careful there. Now, another thing that, another, let's say, context where you can use will is when you warn somebody of something, right? It's like, be careful, you'll cut yourself when you see your child awkwardly using scissors or something like that, or maybe a knife. Okay. So be careful, you'll cut yourself. It's kind of a prediction, but in order to warn somebody, again, you're not sure, maybe the person will not cut themselves or something like that. So be careful, you'll fall into that pit. Okay. And you talk about some things, and this is probably the instance where you use will the most. You talk about some things that will definitely happen, and there's no way these things will not happen. Okay. For instance, you can say that the sun will rise at 6 in the morning tomorrow. I mean, the sun rises every morning, whether you like it or not, and it rises at a certain time. Even if it's overcast and you can see the sun, it will rise. Okay. Or if you look at weather forecast, you can say, hey, the temperature will drop during the weekend. So we use the word inevitable here. Something is quite inevitable. It will definitely take place. So let's recap. When do you use will? You use will when you make a prediction about the future and it's just your own opinion. I think, I believe, I suppose, I'm afraid, perhaps, probably. Option number two, you use will whenever you make spontaneous decisions. You see something happen, like somebody drops a pen. Oh, I will pick it up. All right. You make a promise. You use will. You ask somebody for help using a question. Will you close the door for me? Okay. That's just a request. It has nothing to do with future, like next Friday. You know, you warn somebody about something. Be careful. Like you will hit your head or something. When you talk about something that will definitely happen. And again, here we have to remember this word inevitability. It will definitely happen. The sun will rise. A brighter future will come. All right, let's move on to our next square. And here in this square, we're going to use going to. We're going to use going to. Why did I say going to use going to, not will use going to? First of all, it's not something inevitable, but this is my intention. Okay, so you use going to when you talk about future events, but you have an intention. You thought about it. You have a certain idea in your head, like what you're going to do, and you're going to try to do it. All right. So let's say you can tell somebody, hey, I'm going to buy a new phone next month. All right. Now I'm saving money for that, but I'm going to buy it. So that's kind of my intention. Things might change. I might need this money for something else, but for now, it's an intention. So this is why I said I'm going to put going to in that square. So that was my intention, premeditated, like I thought about it before. Okay. So whenever you talk about your intentions, your desires, okay, this is what you do. And the second point about going to, again, you talk about predictions about the future. But these predictions are a little different than will. Remember, will was about like what you think will happen. Now, going to predictions are used when you know that something will happen because you have evidence of that. All right. For instance, you're looking out the window and you see a huge dark cloud coming your way. What are you going to say? It's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. I mean, it's inevitable. It's like 95% chance it's gonna rain. Look at that. All right. Or you see a teenager texting on his smartphone, like not looking where he's going, and then there's a tree approaching, and you say, oh my gosh, he's gonna hit that tree. He's gonna hit that tree. So it's a prediction based on facts. He's not looking where he's going, the tree is approaching. Boom. That's what happens. So again, we use going to when we have certain intentions and we make a prediction that is based on certain evidence. Now, the third option is just present continuous. You might say, wait a minute, it's present continuous, so it is used in the present. Well, not only. In certain contexts, it's used to talk about the future. But again, we are talking about a different flavor here. So, what is the difference between going to and just present continuous? And the difference is very important here. So, I can ask you, so what are you going to do tomorrow? Or what are you doing tomorrow? What's the difference? There is a difference, okay? Let's think of a context. Let's imagine that tomorrow morning, your friend Jim arrives at the airport and somebody has to pick him up. So you can say it this way. You can say, well, I'm going to pick up Jim tomorrow at the airport. Or you can say, I'm picking up Jim tomorrow at the airport. Now, what is the difference? The first one going to is just your personal intention. Remember, we talked about it before. Just your personal intention. I'm going to pick him up. The question is, does Jim actually know about it? Does he know about it? When you say, I'm picking up Jim at the airport tomorrow morning, it means that Jim knows that you're picking him up. It has been arranged. You previously discussed that, and he knows that you're coming, and maybe you already washed your car, and I don't know, you're all happy, and I don't know, bought flowers or balloons or something. So it's been arranged, okay? Or let's say you are staying at your relative's home, and you tell them at breakfast, hey, I'm going to leave tonight, or I'm leaving tonight. So going to, again, it's your personal intention. Maybe you're a little tired. Maybe you feel like you've been a burden on your relatives, like maybe you've been staying here too long. Or you have a definite plan. Maybe you even have tickets, bus tickets to leave. So I'm leaving tomorrow. Like it's not discussed anymore. It's been arranged. And one last example, if you tell somebody, well, we're going to fly to Turkey next month, or we're flying to Turkey next month. What is the difference? The first one is just your intention. You might not even have tickets on your hands. Or the second one, we're flying to Turkey next month. It means it has been arranged. You have the tickets. You've probably booked hotels and all this kind of stuff. So that's a very important difference. That's a very important difference. And our last square, we're going to use for, attention, present simple. What in the world? Present simple to talk about the future? Yes, 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 yes. So, when do we use present simple to talk about the future? We use it whenever we talk about something that is part of the schedule, like daily or weekly or monthly routine, part of timetable. Okay. So, for instance, if you talk about a bus schedule, or your friend Jim that arrives tomorrow morning, right? Arrives tomorrow morning. Why does he arrive tomorrow morning in present simple? Because the airplane is scheduled to arrive at a certain time, right? So he arrives at 8:45 tomorrow. Not he's arriving, not he's going to arrive. Like he's not the pilot to decide whether he's going or not to arrive. So when it's part of the timetable, or I will have on Thursday. That means that this is part of my schedule. This is something that I can really change. Okay. So when it's part of your timetable, then you use present simple, even though you're talking about the future. Now, let's use this one interesting example. And let's say there is a person in your life that is a little persistent, a little intrusive. Maybe it's a boy that wants a girl's attention or the other way around, how it works. And let's say that one person is very persistent to invite you for a cup of coffee and you are reluctant. You don't want to go. You're like, nah, don't want to go. So, how can you tell that person that you're not going to go just using the grammar without any further explanations, assuming that that person knows grammar? Okay. So, that guy says, hey, how about Friday night? Can I invite you for a cup of coffee? It's just you and I. We just sit there in that coffee shop and talk. So, how about 7 p.m.? He says, 7 p.m. So you're thinking, you might say, well, I'm going to meet with a friend of mine at 7. All right, this is your personal intention. Things can change. You can talk to your friend and say, hey, maybe not today. There's this one guy that's inviting me over for a cup of coffee. Uh, if you say, I'm having a yoga class at 7 tomorrow on Friday. Well, that's something that has been arranged. It does not mean that you have your yoga classes every Friday, but tomorrow you've arranged that you're having your yoga class, and it's kind of out of the question. So if you use going to, then that person has some space to maneuver. He can say, well, maybe you cancel that. When you are having your yoga class on Friday, it means you've arranged that so that person that is doing the yoga class is expecting you to come. So it's way more difficult to rearrange this stuff. Or you say, I have my yoga class on Friday. Oh, that's already part of a timetable, which means you do yoga maybe twice a week and you don't want to skip a class or something like that. So this guy who's persistent realizes, going to, it's an intention, so I can still manipulate that a little bit. Present continuous, okay, that's been arranged. It's going to be much harder. And if it's part of your weekly schedule, things that you pay for, it's almost impossible to change. Now, in that case, you could also say, well, I was going to go to the movies with a friend of mine, and that opens up a door. When I was going to do something using this past going to, I was going to, it's just a thing like, yeah, I had a plan, but like, you're welcome to change my plans. So you open that door to invite them over. So you see, grammar is really important here. Grammar is really important. All right, now let us practice this, and we will do a few exercises together so you can kind of feel that flavor, feel the rhythm and stuff like this. So I'm going to give you 10 sentences right here, and there's going to be a gap. And again, all these um, options, answers, they have a few options there. Lynn, I can say there's only one correct answer. And let's talk about it. So let's look at sentence number 1. Here it is. So Philip, 15 next Wednesday. So which one would you choose and why? I will choose will. That's my spontaneous decision right here. But it's based on a certain fact, right? Philip will be 15 next Wednesday. We celebrate birthdays once every year. So it's not your intention or it's not your arrangement. So whether he has a party or he doesn't have a party, he will turn 15 next Wednesday. Okay. Now, if that sentence talked about a party, you say Philip is having a birthday party next Wednesday. So that's been arranged. Or he's going to have a birthday party. He's still in talks about it. He doesn't know. But in our case here, we see that this is something inevitable. Now, sentence number 2, they get a new computer. Okay, and here it depends. They're going to get the new computer. They're still in talks. They're still thinking about it, talking about it, maybe saving up for it. They're getting a new computer. It's been arranged. So maybe tomorrow night they're going to that store. They found the computer they wanted to get. So they're getting, but not will. Will is going to sound a little off here. Okay, 3. I think my mother, the CD. Any thoughts? What do we notice here? I think, right? So it's your personal thought. Like you don't know. There's no evidence. It's just how you feel, right? So I think my mother will like this CD. That's like an old school example. Do you guys know what CDs are? I think my mother will like this present. So that's your prediction, but that's what you think. It might not be the case here. All right. Let's look at number 4. Paul's sister have a baby. So how about here? That's pretty inevitable, isn't it? Paul's sister will have a baby. I mean, whether you want it or not, like after 9 months, the baby will come out. So you can say Paul's sister is going to have a baby. It's like she's like, all right, I have an intention. Like I think I'm going to have a baby and stuff like this. And she's having a baby it has to be arranged. So let's look at this example a little more. So I just want you to understand this difference of flavors here. So again, Paul's sister, let's call her, I don't know, Joanna. So you are in the moment sitting here and someone says, Joanna is having a baby, right? So Joanna is having a baby now. All right, that's one thing. It's like, oh my gosh, she's having a baby. Everybody's so happy. Like, I don't know, let's pray for her. Everything goes well. She's going to have a baby. To me, it sort of tells me that she has intentions. Like, it's not right to use it in that context. She will have a baby in April. Again, that's what the doctors told her. It's pretty inevitable. There is like evidence and stuff. Or she's having a baby tomorrow. Technically, you could use that if the doctors told her, like, okay, we've given you enough chances to push yourself, but if you can't, we're just going to give you a certain like medicine, a certain shot that will make you have a baby in the morning, whether you like it or not. But so it's been arranged. But again, a more natural example is she will have a baby in April or whatever. Okay, number 5. They arrive at about 4 in the afternoon. Again, will arrive, that's strange. They're not the sun to arrive at 4 every time. We don't know. It's not an inevitable thing. Okay, so if it's just their intention, they will say they're going to arrive at about 4, because we see it at about 4. It's not arranged. It doesn't seem arranged. It seems like, oh, well, at about 4, maybe 4:30, 4:15, maybe 3:50. We don't know. At about 4. So I would use an intention here. That word about throws me off. But technically, again, you could say they're arriving at 4 sharp. It's been arranged, like, the prince enters the hall at 4, and then something else happens. You see, you have it on the booklet and it's been arranged. So my option here is going to. 6, just a moment. Help you with the bags. Any thoughts? Yeah, I will help you with a bag. So it's a spontaneous decision, plus you offer somebody help. Will would be the most natural choice here. All right, 7 in 2020, people buy more hybrid cars. Okay, well, obviously it's an older exercise, so let's use, I don't know, 2030, okay? In 2030, people, and here we have to think, a prediction. We can technically use will, but remember, will is used with like, I think, perhaps, probably, so there's not enough evidence of that, and we don't see it here. And then if there is evidence, then you have to use what? Going to. So technically you could use in 2030, people are going to buy more hybrid cars. Okay, a few more. 8. So Marvin, throw a party next week. Well, will is not a good option here. What are you going to use? It depends. If Marvin has intentions, so he's going to throw a party next week, but he did not invite anybody yet. All right, he's just his intention. Or Marvin is throwing a party next week. Okay, so people have been invited and everyone knows about the party and stuff like this. Okay, we fly to Venice in June. Again, will would not be a good option here. So we're going to, if you have an intention, but you don't have tickets yet, you just want to do it, but you don't know. We're flying to Venice in June. You got your tickets. Everything's arranged. That's an option. Sweet. And let's look at another exercise together. And again, I'll give you some time and to do this exercise on your own. You can always pause after we read the sentence, then unpause to hear my explanation and stuff. So those are some casual conversations right here. So they'll be very helpful. So they will help us to sound a bit more natural. Okay, the first sentence here is kind of like a dialogue, right? So I love London. I'll probably go there next year. So here we have to focus on the idea. So what the person is talking about. Plus we look at the words that are being used, because they will be these clues, like these indicators of what to use. So I love London. I go there next year. So what is your take on that? I say, I will probably go there next year. Again, this is my prediction based on how I feel about it. I love London. There is like no intention, and the word probably here stands out. If not for this word, I would probably use going to. I'm going to go there next year. It's just my intention, right? It doesn't tell me anything about whether I have tickets or anything like that. So again, my answer is I will probably go there next year because of probably. The next one. What were you at the party tonight? So again, a natural thing is to ask, what are you going to wear to the party tonight? Like, do you have any intentions? Do you have any ideas, thoughts? Maybe I can steal some thoughts from you. What are you wearing at the party tonight? I know you as a person that usually has a plan, so you've arranged all that already. So either of the two options. Okay, the next one. I haven't made up my mind yet, but I think I find something nice in my mom's wardrobe. I haven't, so I don't know, but I think I will find something nice in my mom's wardrobe, right? I think, just maybe I won't, right? If you know that your mom has the same style as you can say, yeah, I'm going to find something in my mom's wardrobe. I usually do. That's what it is. Okay, the next one. This is my last day here. Go back to England tomorrow. This is my last day. Well, what are you going to use? Obviously, here the person already knows that that's their last day at that place. So I'm going back to England tomorrow, right? It's something that has been arranged, definitely. Okay, my horoscope says that I meet an old friend this week. So this is a prediction. I don't really believe horoscopes, but it seems like there is some evidence, right? It's like a weather forecast almost. So probably going would be the best option. My horoscope says that I'm going to meet an old friend this week. I'm going to meet, like, right? So that's what we do. And the next one, look at these big black clouds. This is definitely an evidence. So if with the horoscope you could use will, tells me that you don't really trust them. Here you can't use will. You're going to say it's going to rain. It's just very obvious, right? Here's the weather forecast. Tomorrow will be dry and sunny. Well, here will is proper because this is just an inevitable thing. Like the sun will rise tomorrow, it will rain tomorrow because scientists say that this is inevitable. All right, and the last sentence here, what does a blonde say when she sees a banana skin lying just a few meters in front of her? Supposed to be a blonde joke here. Oh dear, I'm gonna slip. I'm gonna slip. So I'm slipping. I will slip. I don't know, honestly. Let's kind of go backwards. I'm slipping. Obviously, it hasn't been arranged, so you don't do it. If the blonde is like a blonde, and all blondes inevitably slip on every banana peel they see, so I will slip. But going to is probably your intention or a prediction just because you're a blonde, and this is the evidence. So going to is a preferable action, preferable point right here. Okay, all right. Now, in our examples here in our exercises, we didn't really see any examples of present simple used, but let me give you another context that will probably help you understand the difference. So imagine you are riding on the train and it's supposed to arrive at noon, and your friend is meeting you at the train station, right, at noon. So maybe you are a couple hours away and you're calling your friend and you say, hey, are you going to be at the train station at noon to pick me up? And he says, yes. So yeah, I'm calling to remind you, the train arrives at noon. It's still 2 hours away, but the train arrives at noon. It's on the schedule, on the timetable. Okay, good. Now, Imagine that you keep riding on that train and something happens, like the train driver announces something like, "Ooh, we're experiencing some issues, technical issues, so we're slowing down right now." So I think that, and then the person says, the train driver says, the train is going to delay. Is going to delay. It's a prediction based on evidence. There's technical issue, the speed is lower, right? And you call your friend back and say, "Hey, we're going to delay." There's a prediction, not your intention, just a prediction based on facts. Then later on is like 15 minutes before the train arrives at the train station, and like you're counting your minutes and you just want to make sure that the friend is still there because you're running late, and you say, "Hey, we're pulling up in like 2 minutes. We're pulling up in 2 minutes. We're approaching the train station and we'll park at the platform in 2 minutes. Like, we are pulling up in 2 minutes. Like, just be sure you're out there." Because again, this is something that has been arranged, and in 2 minutes, we're going to see each other, type of story. So again, the intention of this lesson was to help you understand this slight notes, flavors of all this, future tenses, like future simple tense, right? And again, it's not only about will. It's other things too. And depending on what you use, I, as a native speaker, will understand what are you trying to say. So let's quickly recap. So will we only use when you predict something, but it's just your opinion. I think, I'm afraid, perhaps, and so on and so forth. Spontaneous decisions. Something drops, I'll pick it up, Then you offer help to somebody. I'll help you with your homework. Or you can just say, "Let me help you with your homework," just in case. You make promises. "I will always love you," Whitney Houston, right? You ask somebody. So when you ask a question, be careful here. Don't start with, like, "Will you come tomorrow?" Are you asking me to come tomorrow? That's kind of the thing. Or it's the wrong type of question to ask about the future. So are you going to come tomorrow? Were you planning to come tomorrow, right? So will you come tomorrow? It's like I'm asking you to come on a Saturday to work an extra day. You warn somebody about something, "Oh, be careful, you'll fall in that pit." And then you talk about something that is inevitable. It just happens all the time. Okay. So going to the main idea, number one, intention. This is what you're going to do. You might not have the tickets, but you're planning to do it. You're wanting to do it. Or a prediction, but a prediction that is based on evidence, like a dark cloud and it's going to rain. Now, present continuous is used for something that's been arranged, and both sides are aware of the situation. I'm picking up Jim tomorrow in the morning. That means Jim is expecting you too. Okay. And the last option is just present simple. And in this case, you talk about some events that are part of the timetable, daily or weekly routine. I have an English class tomorrow night because it's part of the daily routine. I'm going to have an English class tomorrow night. So it's kind of like, I'm going to try to open a book and study on my own, or I'm having an English class. That means that the teacher and we've agreed to have a class together. So you see, difference. That's all about different flavors. So follow me for more. And the next lesson I'm going to do on will also, but we're going to talk about the usage of will that sometimes people are not even aware of. So follow me for more and enjoy the classes with me free of charge. Have a great day.